Alrighty, we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show Aftershow show on a very good Friday. And I can hear myself, so that means audio's working, which is a good thing. That seems to make the streams better when the audio works. Alrighty. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And for my financial content, just scroll past the Oak Island playlist, and you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show playlist. And today is number 548 in those. And answering your financial questions playlist, there's 138 of those, and the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. And what's something I don't do that often? The Baby Steppin' song. That's to Dua Lipa's Levitating. That's the easiest part of that is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. With Baby Steppin', 1,000 fun, pay off debt, full fund, invest, kid college, pay off house, build wealth. With Baby Steppin'. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Anyway, that's how that goes. So if you want to listen to that song and any of the other ones, please do so. Singing not my regular job. I don't know if you could tell. But you might enjoy those. Anyway, market report, and that has the futures on there. Let's do a little reload now that it's later in the day from when I brought this page up. And look at that. All green today, and that's good. Not up by a lot. 0.0262%, 0.079%. 0.069, so that's only a little bit. The Russell Small Cap Index, the most up at the moment with a 0.13%. What do we got in the NASDAQ here? So half of these are down, half of them are up in the most followed 6 single stocks on the Google. We forgot to check the rest of the planet. Let's do that. Everything up in the Europe. Everything down in Asia. Interesting. As far as the US dollar, up against the euro, up against the yen, up against the British pound, love, up against the Canadian dollar, not sorry. But down though, against the Australia. Australia said, nar, mate. Nar. Now that's a currency. Let's see. Weak consumer reading. All right. Weak consumer reading. And it's always something. There's always something that they pick to overreact to either way. And, but of course, the market in general is not going to do what we are supposed to do, which is you just put in the same amount on schedule every time, whether it's up or down. You don't try to time the market. You don't try to day trade or do any dumb crap like that. You just get the wonderful benefits of it just going up over time. See, there's no need for all of this. All the right here, the pandy crash back in 6 months to a new high. So there was really no need for it. So just keep it going like that. But they can't do that, especially the traders, because they have to justify their jobs doing that every day. So, and they try to, lock in gains every single day, that kind of thing. But we don't do that. That is not the advice. Let's see what we have in the news. What is it? Edge higher as U.S. stocks weekly win. New Jersey transit strike. All right. Engineer walk out leaves commuters scrambling. All right, and how much would 100% made in USA vehicle cost? It's complicated. All right, I'm sure it is. Because then you got to make everything here, and probably a lot of it's gonna make more money. And again, depending on the tariffs, you have to pay for Chinese-made stuff or stuff made in other countries, and so that's when it would get that way complicated. Why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? From CNBC, cable companies Charter and Cox agree to merge. And since they're still in business, I'm assuming they're still making money. But I would think most people have cut that cord by now. But you never know. Especially out in the sticks, maybe where they don't have internet's good. But of course, the cable companies are the ones, in most times, maybe not most times, but sometimes providing the internets. Again, from CNBC, NVIDIA says it is not sending GPU designs to China after reports of new Shanghai operation. Okay. All right. So they must be doing something there, though. They didn't say they weren't doing anything there at all. They just said we're not sending GPU design. That's graphical processing unit, and that would be your video card, and that you need to play wonderful video games. From The Verge, Grok's white genocide fixation caused by unauthorized modification. Okay, I got a great idea. Why don't you make your AI not able to be changed by unauthorized modification? It seems like some kind of oversight there, some kind of security issue they have at the Grok. Wall Street Journal, air traffic controller just averted mid-air collision. Now he's speaking out. Okay, don't know about what. Not that interested. Let's see. Farewell Walgreens. 54 U.S. stores will close between May and June of 2025. Here's how it will affect you. There will be fewer Walgreens stores. That's how it will affect you. And so the one closest to you may be closed. So if you still want to go to Walgreens, you would go drive further. But of course, anything in there is probably going to cost more than it will at Walmart. So just go to Walmart. USA Today, the Buc-ee's empire expands. I've never been in one of these that I can recall. So I've never, that's a like a truck stop thing, store, etc. And I have not ever been in one of those that I can recollect. Where's the beloved convenience store opening next? They are still expanding, for sure. Alrighty, and so what's up big today? D-Wave Quantum, alright. And that's probably in your NASDAQ. As well as Super Microcomputer up 6.48%. And what is Archer? Phrasing. Archer was a great, kind of like a James Bond parody, but it was an animated series. Very good. Advise you to check it out if you haven't. Archer selected official air taxi provider of the LA 28 Olympic and Paralympic Games and Team USA in exclusive deal. Okay, great. Is that why they are up 9.6% today? I mean, you would think official air taxi provider, that means they would be getting more like free advertising and stuff at around the time of the Olympics. So, and maybe good things happening. What is this? Rigetti computing, and probably again in the NASDAQ. Alrighty. So let's say, oh, and we're down. We are down. 0.12% down now is the NASDAQ. The rest of the things up again, barely up. The Dow and the S&P 500 and the Russell Small Cap Index still leading the day. And you can see how quickly it changes here. It again goes to from what was it, 0.18 or something like that, and then now it's 0.084, which is quite a jump. And so not that bad, even if it does finish low today. Just by that little bit, the market will still be up overall if the other numbers hold. Right, let's see what kind of stories we have. Study finds how 7,000 steps a day could help reduce your risk of cancer. And do they say how many miles that is or something? How many? Let's see. Large study involving over 85,000 people in the bloody UK. University of Oxford. The more stuff you take, benefits begin to appear at around 5,000 steps per day. Anything below that didn't seem to offer much protection. I just want to see how much, and that's an ad right in the middle of it, a related ad. Break it up. Activity logs. 2 miles a day is roughly 4,000 steps. Okay, so you're looking at what, 7,000 per, no, what did it say, 8? Which one? 7,000, yeah, 7,000. And so 8,000 would be 4 miles a day. So I don't know how, and like what the average person does. I don't know. I've never done the step thing or step app or anything like that, but that is interesting. I'm sure it doesn't hurt. I'm sure it would be a lot before it would hurt. And of course, you probably shouldn't start out with 4 miles. You should probably take, a lap around the mall or something first, or outside, track, something like that. Wall Street Journal. Department of Homeland Security is considering reality show where immigrants compete for citizenship. But the producer says behind the pitch, it's only a pitch. Okay. This isn't Hunger Games for immigrants. Yeah, I wouldn't assume it would be like Hunger Games, but the fact that it's even a thing, it just shows you how nutty we are these days. So yeah, that's not. And so how about instead of them winning a reality show, I suppose on top of that you have to pass citizenship test, perhaps on top of that. And so how about you put in a little effort other than just saying I just want to be here, and that's it. So good luck to them, I guess. This from MSN. Consumers getting hit by surprise tariff bills. And I saw it. Where was it? There we go. Total paid $137.42. Import charges, government charges, and then brokerage charges. And I got a great idea. Where was this from? Because one item in its order included materials from China. Yeah, I got a great idea. Buy it from America. And if it's a programmer in Austin, receive $183 cord organizing system he bought from CRD-Bag, all right, a Swedish company. And so again, I would say, how about you buy it from America, especially if you already know there's tariffs in place. So, but hitting you with it after the fact, that's the whole thing of, Ticketmaster, I think, was sued because they would always add those fees in later at the very end instead of showing you right away how much the extra fees are going to be that they charge. So that's nutty. What is it? Price of Walmart expected to rise due to tariffs. Yeah, I'm still waiting for that. Haven't seen any of that yet. And I don't know that the much of the food is grown in China specifically, but I guess we'll find out. He paid up because he wanted the item, even if it did suddenly cost significantly more. But next time, he'll look to avoid unexpected charges. Well, I would assume that as it goes along, they would probably tell you that up front. But again, you can avoid that maybe by using an American company. Not to say that American companies don't buy components from other countries as well. And so, yeah, that sucks that it's an after the fact thing, but you knew there were tariffs already when you ordered from the Swedish company. I don't know if we have what we have on Sweden. I don't remember. Don't recall that. Let's get into some questions. Trey says, rule of thumb has been going on a 15-minute walk after every meal, assuming you eat 3 times a day, and you'll have 1 to 1.5 miles done if you're walking at a decent pace. Okay. Oh, that's good. And that's 15 minutes 3 times a day, and so that's not bad. It also helps greatly reduce glucose spikes from eating. Yeah. People would be shocked if they saw all the tax breakdown of gasoline per gallon. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff happening there. Yeah. So let's see. This is what Nick Coco 94, Ducking Bay 94. How do you know when to sell a property? Well, you would sell it in this subreddit. For the Dave Ramsey advice, you would sell it when you should not have bought it in the first place, such as where's that? There's one close here. Yeah, the rental. They have a mortgage on both rental property and main home, and you should not have bought the rental property anyway. Or if you already had that one and then upgraded to another main home, you don't keep both mortgages and turn it into a rental property. That's a no. You have to pay for rental properties and anything business completely in cash. So that's a NAR. And of course, it's a Star Wars. What is that? That's like a trusted cargo carrying following droid. Now, can you put baby in there, like Baby Yoda? Or an actual live baby? Probably not advised, and they probably tell you don't do that. I don't see any padding here, so I'm gonna guess that's a NAR from the G1T4 M1N1. Okay, that's too long of a name. It's got to be like C3PO, and that's it, or R2D2, and that's it. Let's see, where were we? We were up here. And let's see. Oh, I already opened it. I forgot. I already opened it ahead of time, preparing for the show for a change. How do you know when to celebrate? Before being married, I purchased a townhouse. I picked a neighborhood that was strategically between the highway and an upcoming mall. Great. Bought in 2017 for $125,000 through a first-time home buyer program. I had $0 down and a 4.75% rate. During the pandy, I refinanced to 2.5. The mall is now in phase 1 of 3 with 999 stores incoming. A new mall being built. Interesting. Today, the property is worth $225,000, direct increase to the main mall proximity. We have a tenant renting through a property manager. Okay, so you're not making any money through because the property manager is taking a lot of it, and are just about breaking even. Yeah, so you're not making any money, and people, the financial bros will say, yeah, but you're getting the equity on it. But you could do better than just getting the equity on it by investing that money instead. Dumb. So it's very, very difficult. If you have to have a property manager, if you cannot do the work yourself on a rental, then it is generally not worth it. So let's see. Breaking $100 either way, depending on the month's miscellaneous fees. Yeah, there's miscellaneous fees that happen, miscellaneous things that break as well, and so that's why again, it's really not worth it in this situation. Since getting married and before discovering Ramsey, we moved into a $430,000 house. We're both high earners, so even with pro properties and without counting on rental income, we aren't spending more than 25% on both properties. Well, that doesn't change the idea that, or the advice rather, that you do not get a mortgage, especially on a first-time homebuyer program, which likely means paying PMI for life, probably. That's FHA, maybe. So that's a no on that. You would not be doing that. You shouldn't have bought that in the first place, and so sell it. It doesn't matter what percentage of your income that, or of your take-home pay the mortgage payment is. You should not have that already, because it is a business thing, and for business stuff and second homes, which are toys, you do not take out a mortgage for those. That's a NAR from Mr. Ramsey on that. I spend more than 25 on both properties. Do we treat this rental property like non-mortgage debt and pay it off in step 2? I would say, yeah, if you're going to keep it, yes. But I wouldn't keep it. Why would you bother keeping it when you could invest that money and make more on it? Or do we stay the course given the low interest rate? No, the low interest rates never, ever, 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 like ever affect the Ramsey advice. What up, Aslan? But define high earner. Trey, they ain't all about giving you all the information, because they can say we're both high earners, so even with broke properties and without counting on rental income, we're spending more than 25%. This could all be BS here. This could all be justification station for doing this dumb crap. So we don't know. We don't know if this is actually true or not, but all we can do is assume that it is. Or sometimes, though, I read them and I do say I don't buy that. I think that's BS. But here, I don't know. It could be true. It seems like, because that would have to be on a $430,000 home, and hopefully they put some stuff down on that. Plus the other one, that would seem like, for me, that you would have to be making a decent amount of money. But anyway, we'll just assume he's right about that, but that doesn't change that. That doesn't say, oh, okay, it's less than 25%. That's fine. You can have as many mortgages as you want if it's less than 25%. That's a no. You cannot. Consistent value increase as the mall is put in and our income. No, if anything, you would pay it off in step 2, but you should just sell it, because it's gonna be a long time before that starts making anywhere near the money you would make by just investing it. I feel like, for me, Ramsey would recommend selling the townhouse immediately as part of step 2. Yeah, because, and if you have other debt, oh yes, absolutely. Because you shouldn't have bought that crap on a mortgage in the first place. You did it wrong. And when starting the baby steps, you don't get a pass and everything you did before was fine. You have to sell houses and cars sometimes. And other things. You have to sell dumb crap instead of just paying it off. And one of the ways you figure that out, say if it was only on, say if he only had his $430,000 house, it would go to, depending on how much other debt they have, if they could get out of non-mortgage debt in 3 years. And so to keep it, it would be step two, but you have to be able to pay that completely off and also all your other debt within 3 years. If you can't, that's when it's time to sell stuff. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, your feelings are valid, or would seem to be accurate because yeah, exactly what I said. I'm just not sure with my particular situation, your particular little dumb situation that you think you're special by having does not. It's all happened before for Mr. Ramsey. Mr. Ramsey has heard it all and he's considered all that stuff, and the things that you think are special about your little situation are not. And so baby steps above all of that crap. All right, fun times. Got some questions ready to go from the Facebook group. They read one from there on the Ramsey show today. What up, Sid? Just getting to the Cairo. Get a bone crack for me there, Sid. I haven't been to a chiropractor in for like forever. But it was pretty cool when I did go. Boo 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 boo. What up, HB? How you been? Long time, long time. Long time, first time. Trey might be a workaholic or might not have anything else to do, so might as well earn. Yeah, that's that's the good thing for that. That you're using your, I mean, workaholic. It's probably the bestaholic you can be. I'm guessing. Dave Show format. Jimmy Waters. Wasn't he on Good Times? No, that was Jimmy Walker. Dave Show format. When I first started listening to Dave years ago, it was because my parents would watch his show. We often heard it on the radio, and the format was people calling in and giving their financial situation, getting advice from Dave on what to do in their specific scenario, right? Which their little situation, though, doesn't change it. It's still, oh, you do the baby steps. Now, here's what you do about, if you have an emergency, you pause the baby steps. But otherwise, guess what you do? You do the baby steps. If you don't have a job, you get a job because income is required to make the baby steps happen. Does that format still exist? Okay, this person being a little bit cheeky there with the does it still exist? So I'm going to go ahead and guess doesn't like the way the show is now. And does that still format still exist? I haven't dabbled much in the podcast arena. I listen to a few here and there, but I feel like for me, if you only listen to a few here or there, it doesn't matter. Why would you bother even going to the Reddit subreddit for this? I feel like the ones I've been able to find aren't Dave. Oh, it says employees giving advice. Does Dave still do his advice? And where are those broadcasts? It's all the same. It would be in the same list. And on the YouTube, you would see Dave's picture on the thumbnail, sir. Is how that works on the YouTube and probably the Spotify or wherever else you can get your podcast from. I would assume that would be on there, and his picture again would be on there. So you nutty, you being nutty. Inherited home from Potato Body 89. Alrighty then. Inherited. I have less than 10K in savings and recently inherited a home. I'd like to have long-term wealth instead of short-term gain. Alrighty. Do you guys, gals, think it would be wise to keep the property? 277K owed, worth 650K. No, probably not. It depends on what baby step you're on. And use it as a rental or sell it. Sell it. Not everybody's meant to be a landlord, and everybody thinks that that's the financial bro. Oh yeah, you never sell real estate. No, you do sell it. I could rent it for about $3,000 a month, and the mortgage is $2,100. Yeah, but if you're not going to be the property manager, then you got to pay somebody to do that. And if the roof dies and you got to do a new roof, then you have no profit at all, and actually you're you're negative cash flow on that. And so don't do that dumb crap. Sell it. I'm waiting for insurance to pay for the biohazard cleanup. Unwitnessed death of my mom. What? Okay. That took a dark turn there. The property is a little over 8 acres in San Diego. Thank you. What, was she living there? Were you both living there? Oh, I guess, okay, inherited it from the mom. But you don't need to bring that in. That doesn't change the advice. It would depend on what baby step you're in, and if you really want to be a landlord, it is not for everyone. So, but the idea would be that you, like for example, if you're in step 2, the idea would be that you sell it, and that's going to be about a what, 4 maybe, somewhere close to $400,000, and I think that would relocate your baby steps fairly efficiently. If we take a look at them here, so 400,000 could pay off 200,000 debt and still have some left over. So you could also have your full emergency fund from that. And I mean, basically, that takes you from step 1. If you haven't even started the Ramsey plan, takes you from step 1 all the way into steps 4, 5, and 6. It doesn't say anything about where this person is living. Could live there, perhaps, and take it up. But the problem is inheriting things that still have a payment on them. That's going to be a NAR in general. But if you're depending on what baby step you're on again. And so if you really want to be a landlord and be in that business, but not recommended in general. So I don't recommend it to anybody, and anybody that wants to do it, you have to really want to do it and really be able to put up with, again, because you have stuff, people on here, right, and call the Ramsey show all the time. They're making $100, $200 a month. And you can make way more than that if you sell that. And so that would be 400,000. Say the person is already in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. If they invest that, well, so you would pay off your first home first. But even in like step 7, say this is a person in step 7 that would do that, and so that $400,000, if you invest that, that's $10,000 a year. I mean, $40,000 a year, $440,000 a year, which is way more than your dumb rent is bringing in. And I do get the long game that in the end you own X number, a 650K property, sure. By the time you pay it off, probably even worth 700K, sure. And if you really want to be a landlord, knock yourself out. But again, it's not for everybody. We got garden snakes where Trey lives now. Watch out. Why did it have to be snakes? Aslan said sell the property. In my mind, she was talking to Trey because of a little garden snake, but she's talking about this. Cool. That's cool. Sounds like Pay In was very calm about it. Maybe, I don't know. Or was she yelling, "Daddy, that's a snake"? Or maybe she's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark and said, "Why'd it have to be snakes?" Baby step 2 question. I'm a 40-year-old looking for some guidance into my situation. Okay. I only have 26K saved towards retirement. Okay, that doesn't change anything. That doesn't affect anything except whether you'd like to have more. Sure, you'd like to start earlier on that. Sure, but you just have to add to that as the baby steps allow. My wife has the same amount, but she is 10 years younger. We're on baby step 2. She got her act together 10 years before you did, then, apparently. We're on baby step 2. Oh, boop, boop, boo. So guess what? Guess what happens on baby step 2? Not investing, that's baby step 4. Only debt is $12,576 on one vehicle. If I don't care about the interest rate, I have 2,500 USD bonus coming in, and if I roll it directly into my 401k, I avoid like 600 in Fed state taxes. Investing, you need to pay off your freaking vehicle if you're going to keep it. You can get out of paying for it if you sell that dumbass vehicle that you financed. The vehicle may be fine. It's just the financing that was dumbassery about it. Boom, 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 boom. So we don't try to avoid like 600 in Fed state taxes on bonuses while we're in step 2. We don't do that. Scheming and scamming is what that would be called. And if you were in the Ramsey household, Sharon would whap you with a frying pan. If we're to believe the stories. I think that might be a little hyperbole there, but exaggerating actual facts perhaps, but something like that, Evan. If I take a check, the amount drops to $19.17. Yeah, and you would put that towards the car if you're going to keep your dumbass car, which I can then bring my debt to around 10K. Yeah. I guess the reason for my post is I feel bad about the step I'm on because our retirement savings and emergency fund savings are really lacking. Okay, and I get it. I get it with feeling bad about it, but feeling bad about it is going to change what? Nothing. Unless you're feeling bad about it means that you quit trying to do dumb crap like finance stuff or try to avoid taxes instead of getting that cash for the bonus and paying off the debt or paying more on the debt. And again, you can just sell that vehicle and buy a beater and then you won't have that debt anymore. And you can take that 1917 and use that towards the beater. So you can do that. But you're feeling bad about it is not going to fix anything. And yeah, retirement and emergency fund savings are really lacking. Well, the emergency fund should only be $1,000, so that should be lacking. Or you're doing it wrong. I should be able to pay the car loan in 1 year, or you could get rid of it immediately by selling it and getting a beater. People never think about that. Like, that's not even a consideration. Doesn't even cross their mind. That's why I usually say when somebody asks, should I sell the car? The fact that you're even thinking about it means that you darn well need to in almost all situations. But the recommended 3 to 6 month emergency fund could take years. Then you need to make some more money. Let's see if there's more to this. Could take years. Yeah, well, that's when you do stuff like, guess what? Sell that car instead of keeping it. This time it could be trying to play catch up on retirement. See my predicament? Yeah, it sucks. You did it wrong, and so now you go from today and don't continue doing dumbass crappery. Not crappery, crap. I guess you could say that. Can I really afford another 1 to 3 years of not putting at least 15% towards retirement? Yeah, you can. Imagine that. You can. At some point, though, you gotta quit doing dumbass crap. Also, I know our emergency fund is going to be an uphill battle because we're going to be paying for infertility treatment. See, you want to do everything all at the same time, and you have to pick priorities. If it's keeping that dumbass car, then that's what you got to do, and that's going to keep you in debt longer. Non-mortgage debt. That's going to keep you in debt longer to the tune of $12,576. Dumb. Sell it, buy a beater to replace it if you even need a second car, or even if you even need to replace that. A lot of people buy cars and they don't even need it. You know, they might say they need it, but they actually don't need it. So need and had to get overused big time. So yes, you can afford that, because not affording it will make your actual baby steps, make them take longer. The baby steps are the way they are for a reason. Millions of documented success stories, and it's you do not invest while you have your dumbass financed car. That's a no on that. So you can do that. And so guess what? If you sell the car, buy a beater, then guess what? You're on step 3, and you can start step 3 right now, and then you get that done, 3 to 6 month emergency fund, and then that's when you start investing. So if you're putting anything in now, you do not do that. Also, I love it when the people say, I know, blah, blah, blah. I know that this is. Anyway, where was that? Oh, potentially tens of thousands of dollars. Lots of what to do here. Well, that means you have to make that much money. That means if you want to keep the car, you have to make that much money and can invest it. If you want to do infertility treatments, and that's going to be tens of thousands of dollars, that means you can't invest it. If you want to invest, that means you can't keep that car. If you want to invest right now, that means you don't keep that car, you sell it. If catching up for retirement is more important to you than the infertility treatment, then you don't do that. You catch up on retirement after you've done the emergency fund. So it's all about priorities, and again, people want to do everything all at the same time. You have to pick priorities and do them one at a time, and your priority right now is baby step 2, that car. Decide if you want to keep the car or not. I would lean towards no with the limited information I have, because you don't need a $12,000 car. That's not a need. A need for a car is to get from A to B, and you can just buy a very cheap car. You can sell that and buy a very cheap car. And if you're underwater, if you're underwater on it, you would put that bonus check towards that. And then even if you had to borrow a couple $1,000s from a bank to get out of the car, so that you can actually sell it and then put extra money with it to pay off that car, then you do that. People are nutty. They are. Let's see. Now HB is worried about now because Trey has snakes. He's telling us all we have snakes. Small rodents, yeah. You just haven't seen them yet? Yeah. Sorry, HB, you picked the wrong day to come back to us. Still like removing hiding places, planting specific sign of plots. And get rid of low cover shrubs and bushes and leaves. No, they like to have those here in front of my apartment for some reason. Also cutting grass very low. Yeah. Things tend to get in. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, is having an ecosystem inside my apartment. That's what I always try to avoid. Which is why I don't have plants, much to Simply's chagrin. Witty Turnip 4321. What should I be doing for my kids? Let's see. I have 2 kids, 2 and 3. All right, and aside from my high yield savings account, which is around 3.6% with around 10K each, I'm not sure what simple steps. Excuse me. I need to take for their future. I think I'm going to open a 529 over an UGMA, but what else should I be doing? I don't think I want them to access, hopefully, large sums of money at 18. Hence, I did the HYSA in my name, and that's fine. And you wouldn't be doing any of this stuff unless you are in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. If you're in baby step, in any lower one, baby step 1, 2, or 3, you are not doing this stuff yet. Yeah, and so if you want to put it in your name so that you can dole it out as you see fit, that is perfectly fine. It's your money. I guess my question is, what can I do that's small and impactful? Let's say if I do $100 per month per kid for a while. Thanks. Yeah. You can do the high yield savings account. But since you have, if you know 100% sure you're not gonna need that money for anything, or they're not going to until they are 18, then I mean you got 15 years, babe. So you would make the most money in the market. So you would open a non-retirement brokerage account, non-tax advantage brokerage account, and do that for them. But again, this assumes that you are in baby steps 4, 5, and 6. And I would even say, instead of that, how about you do that 100 month per kid to the house and get that done, and then you will have more cash flow to give to the babies. They'll be adult babies by that time, but you'll be able to give that to them. Or by the time they're, by the time they're 18, you hopefully can pay the house off much faster than that, especially if you don't try to do, again, everything all at the same time. Now, you are supposed to do 4, 5, and 6 at the same time, for sure. But the amount, since they are toddlers, you can minimize the amount that you are saving for their kid college, even if you want to help them with college. And you can prioritize, obviously, the 15% is first. That is first. Still, you do 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time, but you don't get to pick the priority order. The priority order is the investing the 15% of gross, and then from what's left over, then you start addressing kid college. And again, they're toddlers, so you can just put a little bit in there, and then the most of the extra money would be going to paying off the mortgage. Mint Mobile versus Visible. Effective novel 7831. Well, if it has words in it and you read them and together they make sense and a lovely story or idea, then I would say it is an effective novel. Mint Mobile versus Visible. Okay, and so what that is the Mint Mobile uses the T-Mobile towers. Visible uses the Verizon towers, and both of those are discount phone plan carriers. Hello, hi guys. I wanted to reach out to the Dave Ramsey community to see if anyone has input from their experiences. My husband and I have tackled our debt. We just have some medical and our mortgage, and we really are building up momentum and getting excited about our goals. Great. We're trying to continue to cut costs and save money everywhere we can. We paid off our phones to lower our monthly Verizon bill, right? But we have been thinking about switching to a different provider for a cheaper rate. Have you used Mint Mobile or Visible? What would you recommend? Thank you in advance. Well, for this, in your particular situation, if your Verizon phone works fabulously and you always have signal in most or all of the areas in your house, I would probably go with Visible then, because they use the Verizon towers. Because sometimes you will get a particular carrier that doesn't, a particular tower that you can't access very well, and so the service will be more poor. And so since you already know about the Verizon, then if you haven't had any problem with that, yeah, I would go with the Visible then. Otherwise, you can go with Mobile. If you do have problems with it, then you can check to see where that tower is. All that stuff's online, and how the coverage is in areas. They have that as well. You could consult that. But that's what, at that point, that's what it would be, because they are, I believe, the same price. And if you pay it in advance for 6 months or a year, you get it much cheaper as well. A little break on that as well. Second tier phone provider is what Trey is advising that I say about that. Solid strategy to pay off student loans, and I love this one always. What is this? I'm a hunter. Okay. All right, and a solid strategy to pay off student loans. You get this sometimes. How do I pay off my student loans? How do I pay off my debt? And again, people are nutty. They don't think of the basic way to do that. Is you do not spend that money on anything else, and you send it to the student loan lender. And shouldn't need a degree to figure that out. Shouldn't need to have even ever heard of Dave Ramsey to figure that out. Should be able to figure that out. You do not spend the money on anything else is how you pay off the student loans. Let's see. I'm tired of my 37 man student loans. Currently owe about $5,500. I was looking at our budget yesterday, and instead of contributing to yearly expense line items, I can compile everything and pay them off by the 1st of July. All right, that's fine if you can just cash flow the yearly expense line items and don't have to like sinking fund them. That's fine. Okay, gonna get way in the weeds here and explain your little your little plan here that you're doing. We pay just a little extra on our pickup, and there isn't a payment due until the end of July. That's not how you do it. You put all the money onto your smallest debt, so you're doing it wrong. I can take the payment for May and scheming and scamming, paying off things. I can take the payment for May and June and apply that towards the student loans as well. No, that's a no. If you owe less on the pickup, you would pay that off first. You put all the money to the lowest debt, as seen in baby step 2 here. Pay off debt smallest to largest using that snowball method. That snowball method is smallest to largest. So if you just look at the baby steps, and this would be number 2, so theoretically you would read that before you lose interest because you don't think it applies to you. And it applies to everybody. Stop being dumb, people. Where were we here? I've been paying about double the payment on the student loans for a couple years, but it looks like I have a pretty clear path to aggressively pay them off and then transition that money toward the pickup payment this summer. Dumb as crap. You pay the lowest one. If the student loans are 5,500 and they are your lowest debt, then all of the extra money should be there. You don't put a little bit extra on everything. You're doing it wrong. And you wanted a solid strategy, and again, that's you don't put the money on anything else. But should you be paying off the student loans as a priority? And that's a yes if that one is your lowest debt remaining. So it depends on how much you owe on the pickup and if you have any other dumbass debt. The red line, okay, or LA red line. Best Ramsey book for graduation gift. Looking for opinions from Ramsey book for high school graduate. Would consider other authors too. Why bother? But want to be about living within your means, budgeting and saving. Something easy to read and not overly complicated. Why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? Something straightforward and simple. Well, you're in luck because all of the Ramsey books are straightforward and simple. These very, very small words in most cases. It's a very easy read, very quick reads, and for a high school graduate, a younger person, you might want to go with George's Breaking Free from Broke as opposed to Dave's Total Money Makeover, which is the flagship book. And that just got an update a year ago, last May. So, but either one, you know, I mean, again, they're very easy to understand. So even younger teens can understand what's going on in it most times. But yeah, high school graduate, probably George's book. If not, go with the flagship, Total Money Makeover. And you know what would be better than that? Guess what would be better than that, Mom or Dad? Oh, I don't know. This might not be Mom or Dad. Yeah, it might not be Mom or Dad, but whoever it is, you're in this person's life, and what would be even better than a graduation gift or a book would have been you modeling good financial behavior your entire life in whatever interactions you have with this person. Which you, if as a parent, you would have way more opportunities for that, but that would be even better. And so, I mean, you're not gonna spend 18 years of their lives modeling bad financial behavior, and then, oh well, this book ought to negate all of that. That's not how it works. Boom, boom, boom. Trey doesn't know why people think they can outsmart a proven method. Because they're dumb. Because they're dumb and they don't wanna give up the whole our little situation. They don't want to give up that. That's too precious to them, their little situation, that whatever it is, it does not change the advice. You have to change what you're doing based on the baby steps if you want to follow them. Snoo Cookies, I think this person has posted before, 2919, getting closer. Keep going. I updated my payoff yesterday and we cut 7 months off by making a bunch of little payments along the way this month versus one big payment. Yep, and that's fine to do. My pal Matty Bags would sometimes make a payment a day. It was so freeing and motivating to see how much closer we are now. Indeed. And that's how you do it. You don't save a bunch of money and then throw it at debt or in the market, because if you don't pay something, if you save up and then pay for something, you're going to be paying more interest. If you save up and then invest, you're missing out on a lot of gains along the way. So you invest when you have the money, not when you have a big sum. Aslan recommends just do what works instead of trying to reinvent the wheel. Also get a second job to make it go faster. Yeah, that's a good. I didn't even think of that. Good idea, Aslan. Exactly. So as far as paying off the student loans and the car, yeah, you could work more for sure. Didn't even think of that. Regular scary as opposed to horrifyingly scary. 3739. Okay. Transition to retirement, pension, social security, and 401k. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I'm debt free. Fabulous, except for my mortgage. Less fabulous. Balance 112k. Pension will cover all current expenses, including mortgage. Okay. Driving 2014 Ford Explorer, 123 miles, paid off. Great. Should last a couple more years. At least. Probably more than that. 62 when I retire. Oh, so you're not retiring yet. Just asking about it, okay? If I take my 401k and Social Security, I can pay $3,900 a month toward the mortgage, okay? Pay off in approximately 28 months. Or leave my Social Security and pay off in just over 40 months. Advice. You would pay it off as soon as you can. You would not. I mean, I'm talking after you retire. Oh, you're talking about taking it out immediately to pay it off. No, that's a good question. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter probably, and it probably actually is better in the long run if you do take it. I mean, the problem with 401k is, and this is why Roth 401k is recommended, is that when you take the money out of a 401k, you owe taxes on the gains. And so that's why you do Roth, so you don't have that. If you wanted to do this kind of situation where you're like, okay, I'm retired. Oh, I should take out, how much is it? $112,000 out of my Roth 401k. I can do that without any taxes. And there we go. And then it's paid off. Boop, boop, boop. And pay off in just 40 months. Yeah, I would do, but see that, yeah, again, that's the problem with it. There's going to be taxes. Now, if you can handle the tax event, depending on what, the tax amount would be on that, you should do that. Otherwise, I guess you just pay it off in 40 months. So yeah, if you had a Roth 401k, that's easy. I would tell you to do that. But if you are saying, you're saying the pension covers all at current expenses, so you should be able to throw extra at the mortgage, regardless then. If the pension covers all current expenses, and you have Social Security on top of that, then guess what? All the Social Security can go to the house then. And that fact. So pay it off earlier. Trey has had to apply the stop trying to reinvent the wheel idea to my work. Yep. Instead of recoding the same parts of automation scripts over and over and over, I wrote a tools application module that has all the basics I have to repeat often, and that was smart. Trey is wicked smart. So I have to import that module and use the tools instead of rewriting similar lines of code hundreds of times. Wicked smart. Mama call him Trey, Daddy call him Trey, I call him Trey. We're over a little bit, but I'll do one more. Strange ad 7607. And when it has the ad like that and the underscores, that means this was a Reddit generated user name, because they will do that for you if you'd like to. What is the process to build on acreage the Dave way? Well, first pay off the land. 30-year-old, married, debt-free, fully funded emergency fund, current home value 500 600k, 250k. Okay, so you have a mortgage now, and now you're wanting to do that. Yeah, you can't have two mortgages at the same time, bruh. In baby says 5, 6, and 7. You're not in 7. You're not in 7 until you have no mortgages. So this is the second time somebody made the mistake on that. Somebody said that on the Ramsey show today. 5, 6, 7. No, no. To be on 7, you have to be done with 6. So there's none of that bull crap. So, yeah. So that's wrong. You're saying it wrong. Our goal is to buy 10 acres and have a new home. But okay, so they haven't even done that yet. Well, great. Yeah, you would not do that. You don't have two mortgages, and so no floating two mortgages while you're trying to buy land and then build a new home, and you still paying on the other mortgage. That's a nar. No clue how to do that logistically, or the best way to save for that. By not, again, it's not rocket science or brain surgery, or Dave likes to put them together and say rocket surgery. You do not spend the money on anything else, and if you don't want to do that, then maybe you stay in the freaking house you're in now and don't do that. Can we put 20% down on a lot? Nope. Purchase and have it ready to build on? Nope. Do I sell my home first? Yep. What is the best process for this while owning a home? No two mortgages at the same time. No, 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 no. And if you missed it, it was no. What are the landmines I should look out for in this process? What would Dave do? Flare. Okay. One of the things you need to be aware of, it is always, unless you are building it with your own little hands and you're nailing the stuff in, the support beams, etc., etc., unless you are building it with your own little hands, guess what? You buying land first, and then you picking a design and having a home built for you on that land is gonna cost you more than a brand new home that has already been built somewhere. So I understand the people like, oh, well, this is the area I want to be on this land, and especially men's like to do this. They're like, I'm gonna buy land and build a house on it. And it's going to cost you more money that way too, so you need to be prepared for that. That's the biggest landmine. The other landmine is it always comes in over budget. So even if they quote you something, it's going to be more money than that, and so it will cost you more money to do it that way. And so you got to pay you got to pay the piper if you want to do that dumb crap. I think it's dumb. If you can save the money and you want to do that, knock yourself out, where are you going to live while that's happening then? Because again, no two mortgages, so you're doing it wrong. There's too much risk. That's a no from Mr. Ramsey. So yeah, start selling money, and I believe the R comes after the C in acreage. You're spelling it wrong too. In addition to doing it wrong, you're spelling it wrong. HB always stuck on 5 at 5-6. Some days I want to help pay my kid college. Other days I want to pay my house off early. Well, HB, I would recommend doing it based on their ages. When they will be actually needing help for the college. If they're old enough, they're already in it. Well, then you're cash flowing it basically, and so it's got to be enough to do that, depending on what amount you are going to put there. There's always a thing they can do called work. They can do that. I didn't put my webcam light on today. My bad. That's all right. You guys know what I look like anyway. So yeah, you would just need to do that. But like I was saying with the people that had kids that were 2 and 3 years old, they likely could pay, you know, especially if they did the 15-year mortgage, they would be able to pay off that house completely long before the kids were going to college. And then without a mortgage payment, hey, that suddenly makes college easier to cash flow. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, it just depends on when the kid college needs to happen. Obviously, if, you know, if they're 15, 16, that's coming up fast. As in would pay the house off first. There's always some uncertainty in the future. Not having a house payment reduces your risk, right? And again, that makes it easier to cash flow college. Sid decided on a number to save / invest for college, and then above that goes to the house. Part of that put on your own mask before helping others mentality. Indeed. Alrighty. Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And you're watching this course on youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. And if you, yes, you, are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/CoachSteveMoney. The link is in the description below. Not actually a link, but it says the words on there. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to paypal.me/CoachSteveMoney, to Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. And dare I say, after one of today's calls, a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. I promise I really am who I say I am. And this is a donation. It's not me trying to trick you into giving me money. And I'm not a famous race car driver either. Upcoming streams, this one, the Ramsey Show Aftershow show, Monday through Friday, following each YouTube Ramsey show at 10:27 a.m. It's the Ramsey Show starts at 9 a.m. and then ends at 10:27 a.m. And that's when I grace the YouTube airwaves. It's not really air, I guess. Air in some cases with Wi-Fi, I guess. HB, miss me. I'm so amazing. Oh, that is very sweet. Very sweet. HB. Before that says, thanks a lot for the advice, so helpful, and I don't feel so guilty. Be my Ramsey family. Agree. Oh, because my Ramsey family agrees that it should go toward the house. My guilt gets the best of me. Yeah, you shouldn't feel guilty because either way, it's helping them, and you're not required by law to do any of it. So that's awesome. Alrighty. Hey guys, it's a good Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. I did not go to see Thunderbolts last weekend with my son, but we are going to go tomorrow. Tomorrow. We'll see that movie tomorrow. It's only a day away. Alrighty. As always, make smart financial decisions. It says it right there on my page. Every day.